Nestle girl, I swear to you, I've been trying to record this Real Housewives of Atlanta video all damn day. But I had appointments, I had family members that came over. Whatever the case may be, I'm finna try to knock this shit out before something else happens. Did you get into last night's episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta? As I slowly start to get back into this video review thing, I'm starting to realize that I can more so tolerate the Love and Hip Hops and the Real Housewives of Atlanta when I skip a couple episodes. Like perhaps I don't need to watch the shit from week to week. Every other episode, we'll see. Although I'll be doing Patanka every episode and they come back May 5th. But let's just jump down into this episode because bitch, I got a whole lot to say about this shit and a whole lot of hoes finna leave here with a motherfucking attitude when I'm done. First and foremost, Nene pulls up in her Rolls Royce around Marlo townhouse or whatever. Woo-ha, Marlo let them in, Tanya come over, and they get the gossip and they carry on. Now this is the issue that I have with that whole situation, which actually kind of pissed me off. Marlo though went from being a one-trick pony to a two-trick pony. She used to just give fashion. You know, fashion used to be Marlo's thing. Now, Marlo just messy as fuck and she's a mean girl. Marlo's strategy has become, let me find one person I can sink my claws into and just ride. For the life of me, I'm not understanding why Marlo is so interested in anything that is going on with Eva. Secondly, and this was shit about to get real and about to get real personal. Marlo and Nene both were a little too entertained by that bridesmaid going around telling all the Eva tea. And here is why. I can remember when me and Marlo were on speaking terms. Marlo had a hosting at a bakery somewhere in Midtown, and Nene's sister showed up to the event trying to befriend Marlo in an effort to spray Nene, and Marlo shut it down and was like, you know, no, that ain't cool, whatever the case may be. She had some words with her. Nene, your sister has got on the internet and on several interview platforms and told all your business or whatever the case may be, and you did not like the shit. So the fact that y'all are overly indulging in the fact that somebody close to Eva is telling all her tea and woo, and let me tell you what she said. Like, it's one thing to listen to the tea, it's another to enjoy it. Now, here's the thing. Since the tea is on the table, we gonna have to talk about it. Eva, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm finna jump around here real quick. The friend may be being malicious in terms of telling Eva business, and she may be adding a little extra stank on it, but she not lying on Eva. And the reason that she not lying on Eva was Eva's reaction at Kandi's OLG thing at the very end. The reality of the situation is Eva was gravely embarrassed, and that's why she left. It wasn't a situation of, oh, I don't have time, this, that, and the third. Eva, your ass was in distress. Because for somebody who don't have time, you didn't need to go get your husband involved, and now your husband and everything worked up. No, bitch, you was embarrassed. That girl had done told all y'all motherfucking business, okay? And then you left, and then you wanted to have a conversation with Nene, but you wanted to have the conversation off camera with no microphone, and then Nene convinced your ass to come back in. Now, let me tell you something. Eva, you strike me as having a bad episode of putting on for the gram. Okay, I already said in the very beginning of Housewives when it first started out, you know, Eva was living in her regular people ass townhouse. Now here's the thing. I was just joking because quiet as it's kept, the townhouse she stay in about costs more than what the fuck I'm staying in, and half of y'all, or more than 3/4 of y'all that's within earshot of my voice. But in comparison to the rest of the ladies, you know, Eva, you ain't doing it like that, and I'm sorry. Top Model don't pay. Them little reality TV show gigs that you had subsequent of Top Model don't really pay, and you get your bookings. Okay, now listen, and I keeps it very real with y'all. I'm booking for $2,500 a booking for an hour and a walkthrough. I'm getting $2,500. Eva, you probably getting 5. Eva probably getting 4. But the thing about it is, even with Real Housewives of Atlanta, I don't even see Eva being relevant enough that a club promoter is spending $4,000 or $5,000 for her to come out. Because I don't know how many people finna run out to the club just because Eva is there. I said all of that to say this. While Eva may financially be doing better than the school teacher who has a husband who's a garbage man, in the grand scheme of entertainers, she is not living the damn life. She's living very average. Hence her Jeep and hence that townhouse. Now let's factor in her husband. Her husband is an attorney. Okay? Listen, not all attorneys make a whole shitload of money. Nevertheless, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say easily he makes $125. You know, that's good living. $125 from him. Let's just give Eva, prior to the show, let's give Eva another $125. Let's give them both $150. That's $300,000 amongst the two of them. That is good living by normal American standards. But in comparison to people who get $1 million checks, the Nenes of the world, the Cynthias at this point, those ladies that got businesses and stuff, Eva don't have it. And I think being on this show, she felt pressured to sell it like she did. First and foremost, and never am I one to really get down with Marlo when she reading other people's business, but I'm about to get that bitch in a minute. But Marlo was absolutely right when she said perhaps Eva spent a little too much on that wedding. She should have talked to Cynthia and Peter ass, because I know firsthand the financial struggles that Cynthia went through trying to put on this grandiose wedding for a marriage that ended up not working. Now I think Eva and Mike marriage is going to work and they're going to be just fine, but I really feel like Eva went out her way and spent all this damn money on this wedding to create the illusion that I am that girl. And you and your husband are not. Now hopefully through the grace of God in this show, y'all will get there. But Eva, you got upset the way you did because there was a lot of truth into what that girl was around there telling you. Now in terms of getting the car and the CPN number, let me tell y'all something. The whole CPN situation is very big in Atlanta. These people who pay $500, pay $1,000 to fix your credit and we'll give you a CPN. A CPN is how many numbers in the social? A CPN is a 9-digit number that you can use in place of a social security number. It's almost like a business social security number. In addition to that, you can attach credit trade lines to the CPN number. And when you run the CPN number through Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian, it don't know the difference between it being a real human being with a real social or a CPN. So a lot of times, people who credit is messed up or got bad rental history or whatever the case may be, they can pay to get a CPN, which is an alternate credit profile, and that allows them to buy cars, this, that, and the third. Now here's the thing about the whole CPN situation, because she tried to read it and be like, and a car on the CPN, yeah, but a CPN don't keep you from having to pay the note. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the car might be in, you know, a CPN social, but I still have to make the car payment if I want to keep the damn car. But then the girl went on and said Eva's shit was repossessed. And here's the other thing, Eva. You came off of, not divorce, you came off of honeymoon. You met with Kandi and said you got to move out in 2 days just to move into another rental. Girl, that sounds like an eviction to me. Don't ask me how I know, bitch. But that sound real like I don't know who goes on vacation knowing that they gotta move out 2 days when they get back and still haven't found another rental property. And who does that? Like, Eva, your whole setup reeks of we're having some financial difficulties right now. And the thing about it, and why I think a lot of people take pleasure in laughing at Eva's potential financial situation or strain that they may be in right now, is because their financial situation absolutely don't have to be Y'all financial strain is because y'all living too high on the hog. And you trying to create this illusion. You know what? I never thought I would say this, but for that whole illusion situation, I am so fucking glad I got my ass the fuck out of Atlanta when I did. And I'm back in Florida and in Miami around some real individuals. Like, one thing I can say about Miami, and we've got plenty of faults. We are the most ghetto ass city for black people that you can ever be, from trust and believe. But what the fuck you see is what you get. And Miami people pride themselves on being real, actually real to a fault. So I'm glad that whole spirit of let me drive a Range Rover but have 4 roommates has not made its way to Miami, because it just ain't like that. Motherfuckers let you know, bitch, I drive a Honda and I got a Gucci purse with my income tax money. That's how I got it. But Atlanta, everybody want to give you the illusion like they rich and fabulous and all this kind of shit, and they are not. And this whole reality TV and entertainment movement that has swept through Atlanta has not made it any better. Now, there is an undercurrent of people in Atlanta who do motherfucking have it going on, but those, kid you not, are the people who have actually earned it and worked for it. The educated people, and then you've got the strippers, the entertainers, the reality stars, and then everybody else that wants to mimic these lives that they do not have with $600 rent and 4 roommates. Nevertheless, Eva, I hope when you get your check after the reunion that you pay off your credit and clear up your student loans and every damn thing else that's going on. Kandi, Riley, Mama Joyce, Todd, Ace, Kayla, everybody sitting in the room talking about Kandi them having more children. You know, it ain't my uterus, it ain't my pocketbook, it ain't my babysitter bill. To be honest with you, I'm kind of with Riley in terms of Kandi not having more children. It's just my personal opinion, and it really doesn't matter because I don't have to raise them. But it just feels like a less than ideal situation. And it feels like Kandi wants 2 lives. She wants mega entertainer life, but she also wants Susie Homemaker, I go to soccer games and bake cookies for my kids life. And is trying to find a way to merge the two. And hats off to Kandi. If she can be superwoman and spread herself thin enough to figure out how to do it with the assistance of her, you know, of her husband, mother, the nanny, and whomever else, more power to her. But I side-eyed Kandi when she expressed that her rationale for wanting to have more kids was the fact that they had 2 more embryos sitting on the shelf, and she just felt like they was leaving 2 behind. Like, I get it, but like, that can't be the only reason, and I hope it's not, because much like many other body parts, abortions, limbs, stillborn babies, they could have put those 2 embryos in the biohazard waste thing and disposed of them properly. Nevertheless, much blessings to the Tucker family. I hope it works out, but I just, you know, for Kandi to have 3 small kids running around and doing all that she's doing, I mean, the beautiful thing of it all is at any given moment, Kandi can pull the plug and just stop working and sit on her ass until she die, get born again, die, come back as a witch on American Horror Story Coven, and then die again a couple more times. So I guess if things get too overwhelming, she'll just slow down and stop. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't like that scene at all when they went to the escape thing when Kandi got the ASCAP award. And Ace was there and he was all cranky and tired because he's a child, and while I get it was important for her to have him there to see it, children don't understand that shit. They don't understand nothing but Barney, sleep time, and snack time. Moving right along. The OLG prep, when they was prepping for the party and the party planner was walking through the situation, is it me? Or it seemed like Aunt Bertha always got a damn attitude. I'm sorry, y'all. I love Aunt Bertha, Aunt Nora, and Mama Joyce, but Aunt Bertha is one of them old people that I would cuss out in public. One of them old people that feel like they could walk around and just have an attitude because they've earned their place on this earth. It's like, damn, you didn't want to shake the boy hand. He telling y'all what it is y'all supposed to be doing. You sitting up there with your face all tooted up like you smell shit. Like, why? Like, I would just be curious to know what has happened to Aunt Bertha that has just made her so damn miserable that she can't even smile. It's almost as if she makes it a point to just be moody and bitchy. And I don't get it, but to each his own. Nene talking to Greg about being mean. You know, I've been feeling a way throughout this season with Nene complaining about Greg and complaining about not having support and that Greg used to do this for me and now what about me? I was reluctant to say this earlier in the season, but I'm going to say it now. It comes off somewhat selfish. For crying out loud, the man is battling cancer. He's, dying. That's a lot to process, or potentially dying. And the reason I battled saying something is because while he's going through what he's going through, it doesn't change the fact that Nene has feelings. And I totally get it. But I just do not think while this man is going through what he is going through is the time for her to be laying her needs and her emotional burden, so on and so forth, on him. It ain't like this been a 6-year run. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is, I understand that it's your job to love, honor, cherish, and support your husband. But if it's becoming too overwhelming, hire a home health aide to assist. That way it takes some of the burden off of you being a caretaker. Hire someone to assist. Where are his children? Where are y'all other family members? If y'all didn't ostracize them and isolate yourselves from the rest of y'all damn family, then maybe you would have somebody to help you ease the pain. But like, I just feel bad. I don't feel bad. I don't have sympathy for quote unquote rich people when they complain about not having time or the help they need when they've got money to hire the help. And a lot of people may argue, he may not want a home health aide and she may not want anybody seeing about her husband. She vowed to honor, cherish, and obey. But if it is becoming too much for you and you're becoming resentful and it's causing the relationship to fall apart, then perhaps home health aide or live-in nurse for a little bit is the solution. And I'm sorry, Nene, I'm starting to think that there's some deeper issues with you and Greg because y'all keep throwing this let's separate thing around too damn freely, too loosely. Let's separate. Oh, it's getting tough. Let's separate. And it's just like, damn, you would throw around separation while the man is going through cancer. Like, it just really sounds like you don't want him no more. And I always tell people that dating an older man, that sugar daddy shit is cute while he's young, mobile, and still healthy. But when you 45 and he's 65 and he can't get around like he do and you still got 20 years of life left in you, it causes problems. I always say, you're going to pay on the front end or the back end, but you're going to pay. Nene, your life was front loaded. You lived very good on the front end in terms of Greg being older and established and being able to take care of you and the family, so on and so forth. Your life was front loaded. It's now time to pay the piper. That life you had prior to Housewives that Greg furnished and financed, the bill is now come due and you got to pay it, mama. So, in the words of a grown woman or the old lady sitting up under the tree, suck that shit up and get you a nigga on the side like the rest of the damn young women do. Because Greg just want to sit at the house anyway. You got more than enough time to cheat or get you a man in another city. Last but not least, because I already touched on Eva leaving the event. I did not like them trying to force Tanya on us in the very beginning, but I'm going to tell you something. I like Tanya. I like what she brings to the show. She's an objective, whatever. And I think that Tanya is so oblivious to a lot of black culture, African American culture, and the way these women move, that she's been able to be authentic throughout this process. And that's why I like her. Shavana, y'all still keep trying to force Shavana on us. Yavana. I seen her at the table at the OLG thing, and it's like, leave this girl home. We don't want her. Listen, Shamari DeVoe ass barely made the damn cut, quiet as it's kept. We'll see where it's going. But y'all, that was the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So listen, We saw Nene did a rant about Cynthia did something that she didn't like and it was sneaky and underhanded. And come to find out what she's talking about, I think, is the fact that Kenya shows up at an event or whatever the case may be. Now, mind you, I didn't know Nene and Kenya had fallen out to the point where like Nene don't want to be around her or anything. I can't even remember what the fuck they don't fell out over for, to be quite honest with you. But Nene, I saw that little rant that she did on social media, and Nene is starting to look very fucked up in the sense that people are like, you can only be Nene friend, and if she don't like somebody, you can't be that person friend. And the minute that you don't do or move in a way that's congruent with what she thinks, then she wants to oust you and throw a fit and a tantrum and all this kind of stuff. You know, the way she spoke of Cynthia during that rant had me feeling a way. And the thing is, whether Cynthia is sneaky, whether she's a whore, whether she's a drug dealer, and they call her Lady Heroin, Cynthia does one thing that we should all borrow from her. She moves and operates publicly in such a way that when people say things about it, you can't even believe it. I was listening to Nene's rant about Cynthia doing sneaky, underhand, lying, trifling shit, and I'm just like, while I hear you, I don't believe it. And quiet as it's kept, I don't know what Cynthia did. Cynthia could be guilty of sin, but she conduct herself in such a way that Nene, you look crazy coming at her like that. You're gonna have to find another way to get the crowd to not like Cynthia. Like, you're gonna have to lay some cards out on the table, and the way Cynthia moves, it's gonna be very hard for you to get that hand. At any rate, that's a girl. It felt good to actually give a thorough Real Housewives of Atlanta video. This is probably the one that I probably felt the most good about all season, because I took a little break from them hoes and I took a break from this camera. Y'all, I'm back, slowly getting back in the grind of things. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I'm finna get on this Married to Medicine LA, and I'll call you in a few. Bye.